Are you ready to go?
I'm good to go.
Ready to go. All right. Well, let's just start it off. Mayor, first of all, thank you for meeting with us and agreeing to talking with us today. 2025, as we were just talking about, what a year. Let's start with the easy things about 2025. When you look back over this past 12 months, what are some of the things that stand out to you that, hey, wow, we did this right in Kansas City? It's good to be in Kansas City in 2025.
You know, I'm going to focus on two things, kind of from different ends, because I always say we have to be a city that walks and chews gum. We do the big, exciting, global attention things, but we also take care of the basics. This year in Kansas City, when you talk about taking care of the basics, we opened thousands of new units of affordable housing in our city. We continue to do our march towards 10,000 new units of housing, making sure we can get people off the streets. We're reducing the number of homeless people on the streets. We're making sure that more families, more working families have an opportunity to grow up, have a great place to live, frankly, have a good, affordable Kansas City. And so that was something that I think is really important.
And where do we stand on reaching that goal?
Yeah, we are at about, I think, about 7,000 out of the 10,000 goal that we have. I think we're going to be well on our way in this decade to making sure we accomplish it. And in fact, I think we're going to exceed it. And that's something that the people of Kansas City asked us about a lot before. On the bigger ticket items, I'm actually going to cheat and do two.
Okay.
One, you were seeing the Country Club Plaza going through its approvals right now. We got a great owner. We finished up the sale. That was late last year, but what you see now is the development process to really build new opportunity for the Country Club Plaza. We all recognize that it needs regeneration. We recognize that we needed a lot more work to make sure it was that unique regional crown jewel that it had to be. And so we're proud of having that. And then, of course, the World Cup. You know, I think every Kansas City, and particularly when we got the draw of the countries visiting us, Argentina, Austria, the Netherlands, Algeria, Curacao, Ecuador, you hear about these countries and people are saying, oh my God, they're really coming. And what I hear from lots of populations, by the way, ones who are natives of Ecuador, I had a woman come up to me and say, this is very exciting. There are lots of us here, something I never knew before. To our hoteliers who are excited about the opportunity, not only will it be about generating revenue, which I think we'll do a lot of in 2026, but we also have a great opportunity to actually not just put Kansas City on the map, but I think continue our ascendancy. I think this is a 1996 Atlanta Olympics moment. If you talk to somebody from there, they often say, we're a great place. There were things happening. We took off from there. I think that's the future that Kansas City has in store.
With the World Cup coming, what are you most excited about for others coming into the city who may have heard of Kansas City? Hey, it's the city on the rise, but I'm going to go check it out for myself because we're going to have world spotlight attention on Kansas City. What are you most excited about sharing with others?
You know, I think that probably the most exciting part of it all with us hosting folks is that they do get to see all the investment that we've done over the years. We're in Union Station right now, where when I was a kid, when many in this market were kids, was abandoned largely, right? That it took a real collaboration, two states, lots of people to say, we need to do better. Now you look at this, the World War I Museum and Memorial, everything that we're building up in downtown Kansas City, and say, we've accomplished some real stuff. And I think what we've been able to accomplish is that we've built up this great market, but we continue to have outstanding culture of this city. There are many nice places around the country and around the world, but in Kansas City, you get the real deal. You get the best in cuisines, not just barbecue, great Italian, all types of stuff. You get, I think, a really interesting tour and engagement, either here at Union Station or anywhere in the market. And so what I'm proud to share with people is that I think people think we're nice. They actually think we're big, and maybe they even think we're bigger than we are. We're able to convince FIFA of that. But what I don't think they know is that it's an interesting place. It's a dynamic place. It's a diverse place. There are lots of different people and different types. I'm a proud Midwesterner. I'm proud to be Midwestern nice, but at the same time, we have some edge, we have some culture, we have some vibe that I hope everybody gets a chance to see.
Well, it's a huge opportunity for Kansas City with so many people coming to Kansas City. What are there concerns you have about this such a huge event coming to Kansas City and how Kansas City responds to that event?
You know, I think I will always say that there are obviously concerns. We have lots of things to deal with in terms of public transportation and public safety. We will make sure we continue to take care of those steps. And I'm proud of the steps that have been made first by the KC 2026 board. Being able to catch buses during the World Cup that take you from Liberty to Lenexa, down to Fan Fest at the Liberty Memorial, out to the stadiums, hotels, airport, and beyond. I think that is something that is nothing short of dynamic. I hope, frankly, it sticks around and is in some ways a guide for our regional bus system after that. In terms of the public safety side, KCPD is working closely with state and local departments in both of our states in making sure that we actually have the work ready and the preparation ready to make sure that we're welcoming everybody. So we have been supported by the federal government. Tens of millions of dollars is coming in drone technology, making sure we have more boots on the ground, mutual aid and beyond. The state of Missouri has put tens of millions of dollars more into the pot to make sure we're ready for public safety. And so, look, while you can't guard against everything, I don't think there will be a safer place in America during the 2026 World Cup than at a number of our venues that are part of the World Cup. And certainly we'll make sure even outside of the venues that there is a strong presence as people are moving around here.
And sadly, one of the sites of, Kansas City's greatest achievements. And then here, not too long ago, great tragedy.
Yeah.
We learned some lessons there to prepare for the things that you have to prepare for when you have an event like this of this scale.
Well, you know what I think that we have always tried to spend more time thinking on, particularly post that incident, is these unprogrammed spaces after events or when folks are milling about and standing around. When you think about challenges, not just from that event, but also, frankly, from when we have shootings near entertainment districts and others, it often happens after an event or just a giant group of a few hundred people, a fight breaks out, chaos ensues. We are trying to make sure that no matter the area of the city, it doesn't have to be Fan Fest itself. If we know that there are 5,000 people who decide to get together in Southmoreland Park, let's say, south of the Nelson Atkins, then we need to make sure that we have a law enforcement presence, that we've thought about security, that we're engaging with the groups necessary to say, hey, is there a security plan we can build up for you? That's the way you really make a difference. We're not changing gun laws in Missouri or Kansas before the World Cup. We're not perhaps changing the mentality of some who lead to terrible events like that. But what we can do is make sure that we will not have an environment that harbors that sort of activity. And we'll make sure we do, both from officer presence, intelligence, eyes in the air, and more than anything, making sure that we're getting that message out there that Kansas City will have zero tolerance for misconduct.
Transportation is such a big key of the World Cup coming to Kansas City. How disturbing or concerning was that you just got the recent news about the 169 highway bridge?
Yeah.
It's terrible timing for that to happen. I mean, again, that's one of those unforeseen things that you got to deal with it.
It's in our lives, and as we run cities and states, life goes on. And I guess one important part of life going on is that we need to make sure that, we have alternatives. And so we just went through several years where there was no Buck O'Neill Bridge at all, and where we were replacing it. So we've seen we will be able to sustain it. I think it is incredibly unfortunate. We're working with the Missouri Department of Transportation, who's going to be in charge of fixing that to see how efficiently they can come up with an alternative route. But for us right now, we're looking at alternatives to make sure that our partners in the Northland, and importantly, people who need to get back to the airport quickly, are as connected as they can possibly be. Fortunately, this is a city with a lot of bridges. We're not just sitting on one. And so I think that our long term will be that we're able to handle it. We've done it through parades, through downtown commutes every morning. Unfortunately, we're going to have to do it again, perhaps for the World Cup.
Okay. Crazy day of news. Yeah. The last, 3-4 days, you turn the radio on and you got Soren Petros saying Chiefs are going to Kansas, Royals are going to Kansas. You have other people echoing the same thing. There's a meeting going on right now. I don't even know what's going on there.
I know. I was watching it too. Right.
So what can you tell me today about the very latest of as what we're hearing about the stadiums?
What I can tell you today is the truth that I think if you ask me, the people in Kansas, the teams, is this basic, which is negotiations are ongoing. And negotiations are ongoing for those of us in Kansas City, Jackson County, the state of Missouri, just as they are, and I'd imagine they're going on in the state of Kansas. And so I hear a lot of things too, mainly by politicians who, like me, we have a lot of hot air, a lot of things to say, but I don't think anybody knows exactly what the teams will ultimately do other than the teams themselves. I think that they are entertaining offers from the jurisdictions. I think that they're evaluating them. It will be an interesting balance. Money is going to be a real part of it long term, but I think that at least in terms of the Chiefs, I think culture is going to be a big part of it too. There is nowhere like Arrowhead Stadium. Think about this. We are by far the largest market the smallest market in North America to get World Cup games. Part of that is not just our history, which is exceptional, but also a recognition that our facility is something special and majestic. And I think that goes a long way. That's not saying that the state of Missouri and Kansas City and Jackson County aren't putting a good financial offer for it. But I think what is important for us is to make clear that, we are still very much in discussions. We're very much in the game. We don't always debate with some of our other peers out in public. I have not called my favorite radio people to be like, let me tell you my inside information. That doesn't mean talks don't happen. And I just have a natural preference for negotiating where you're supposed to negotiate. If you can come to terms, you have a robust public conversation about what the deal looks like. And I think that is what the next step is, both with the Chiefs and the Royals. And by the way, this is a conversation with both teams. I think there are a lot of things happening. And so, I would say to everybody, and I'm hearing from people loud and clear, when people say, how did you let the teams go? How did this or that happen? I think that's premature. The other thing that I would say is no matter what happens, I think that the teams are going to do as they should. What's best for the teams long term and where our jurisdictions end up is what's best for our communities and our taxpayers.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I interrupt? So Molly just sent an update of what Lolo just announced.
Sure.
And
Should we read it?
Yeah, go right ahead. You'll get me on camera listening. Yeah.
Okay. Specifics being announced in the effort to keep the Chiefs in Kansas City and the city's role in the partnership. Lavota announced a plan to renovate Arrowhead Stadium with a 1/4-cent sales tax, lowering from the previous 3/8-cent sales tax.
Yep.
Lavota's plan, which he revealed in part, was titled Operation Save Arrowhead. He claims the plan would be a 25-year tax beginning in 2031, and it would include an unshared commitment from the state of Missouri and from the city of Kansas City, along with $400 million from the Chiefs. Does that jive with what?
Yes, that's exactly what I know too.
Thank you.
Exactly.
The question from here is to get more details about the efforts made and to ask the voters in 2026 to keep your
That understood. Okay. Yeah, what she said.
Look, I think that, and part of these ongoing negotiations, and I think the county executive probably shared it today, that as the conversations are ongoing, the Chiefs do find a few things that are important for it. Support from every level of government, state, county, city, and making sure that the big part of that county side of things is that the sales tax is renewed. The 1/4-cent sales tax, of course, would be an increase on the Chiefs' share of it. They used to share half of 3/8. But now you'd be looking at that 1/4-cent that goes just to them. What that would mean for us is, of course, that you have that support. The city itself has talked about several $100 million of support for the Chiefs. And that is something that I think some folks haven't been aware of because typically, these have been county facilities for some time. The city of Kansas City has put money in for some time. That being said, we thought it was important that we step up here. I think that is a compelling offer, particularly given the cost difference between renovating a stadium, which I think all of us who go to Arrowhead believes is an exceptional, dynamic place that is worthy of that renovation, as compared to building a new $3 billion dome that I've been in my share of domes may still not have the same type of culture and vibe that you have today at Arrowhead Stadium with the tailgating that you have at Truman Sports Complex.
Just one more question on the stadiums, because again, it's not resolved yet, so we don't know.
Yeah.
But and you touched on it briefly. It's about, you're hearing from people, what are you doing? We can't let these teams go, west. Clearly that goes back to, this has been going on for decades. The border war between Kansas and it's a real thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. I mean, we're hearing today that, Lockton is going to be moving to Kansas. And again, rumors that the Chiefs and Royals are both moving to Kansas. that doesn't mean Missouri's fallen off the edge of a cliff here.
Correct. I'll say a few things about Kansas City. Occasionally when you have movement and all of that, you really do need to worry if the city itself is in a death spiral, if there are trends that are a challenge and all of that. I think it's anything but in Kansas City. Let's just go with some of the data and the facts that we've seen this year. Shootings are down 30% in Kansas City, if public safety is your thing. Homicides are down in Kansas City, particularly on Kansas City's east side. Population is up, which is distinct from a lot of other Midwestern core urban cities. And you are seeing more and more projects and investment downtown Kansas City. We approved a $500 million new hotel apartment building complex. On the plaza, of course, you're looking at about $1.5 billion redevelopment plan. People are excited about the future of Kansas City. Does that mean you get every deal? Absolutely not. In the same way that every suburb doesn't get every single deal that comes its way. And we recognize that in Kansas City, while I do think it's regrettable that the border war and economic development is back on, it's frustrating. I think it's concerning. We need to grow the pie. But Kansas City recognizes that every day we go out and we have to compete with every city around the world, whether it's across the street, across America, across the world. And we will continue to do that. And the same winning spirit that we had when we got KC 2026, the World Cup, the same winning spirit that we've had when we have accomplished some of the greatest conferences around the world, the same winning spirit that we have right now when we